Hello and welcome to the Center Code training video talking about how you can design the interface for your project homepage. So we're going to be talking about the project homepage tool and the project menu tool. In this video you'll learn how to provide efficient access to resources on the project homepage. We're also going to discuss creating URL links and custom topic headings in the left-hand menu. With regards to the Nighthawk project story, this is part of your pre-launch resources. You want to get this set up and ready to go for your testers before they get into your project and before they become full-fledged testers, because changing these settings and changing their interface can be very confusing for your testers. Now with regards to the homepage, it allows you to utilize an introduction message that's independent from the notice chain or from content. So whenever a user lands on their project homepage, you can include update information there or just a general synopsis of the project there, however you want to do it. You can also provide simple, dynamic access to new resources and information from the project homepage, utilizing the loadout of the overview page in addition to the left-hand menu. You can also provide efficient navigation through the tab structure along the top of the page that we'll get into in just a minute. So with that, we're actually going to jump in and take a look at the project homepage of the Nighthawk project. And as you can see here, we have the simple left-hand menu there providing access to different resources and tasks and things of that nature. And then the main body area there has your loadout of your different tabs and your overview and whatnot for your particular project. Now in this case, the items that are shown in this screen are dynamic based on role access. So for example, I have access to a project dashboard and I can see a low project activity there under the Project Manager Alerts heading. Additionally, there are other items including incomplete feedback, upcoming to-dos, new resources, and of course the user forum screen. And now each of these things, if the user doesn't have access to, for example, any forums, then that forums menu won't show up for them. If they've already completed all of their tasks or submitted all their drafts, etc., then those things won't be there. In each of these tabs here, you can see they have different headings. In this case, this is the overview. It kind of sums up everything that the user is going to need to know right off the bat. There's also the resources tab that gives them direct access to the different resources that are loaded out in your site. So if there were some content pieces that they hadn't seen or something of that nature, then they can review them here in the resources. They'll also be able to find different resources that we've provided to them, like software downloads and software keys and things of that nature. Next we have the My To Do section, which lists out the different items that they have left to complete. So for example, you have the incomplete feedback section along the top there that reminds them of certain drafts that they have. So in this case I have a daily journal that I started but I never finished and submitted. So this will remind me there to go ahead and submit that. And then under general activities, it kind of sums up the different items within the site and encourages you to participate within the site. So for example, your forums, providing feedback, etc. Under the Watch tab, this particular account doesn't have anything that it's watching, but you can actually select to watch different forum posts or different bug reports, for example. And each of those items will be listed here with any updates that pertain to them. And then finally, the Participation tab is extremely useful for the tester to be able to keep track of all the different things they've contributed on and different things that they've done. And realistically, this particular tab is more for the reassurance of the tester, basically ensuring that their data is being tracked and kept. And even if they haven't gotten direct posts or direct response from you, which they should, but if they haven't, then at least this way they can see that it's been successfully submitted. They can easily re-access those resources and make sure it came out looking like they wanted it to. So in order to customize this screen, we're actually going to jump into the project tools. And from this page, you can actually scroll down to the project homepage tool. And from here, you can see the different access rights for each of the tabs across the top there. So for example, if you don't want to clutter up the interface for the project manager team and your internal members team, you can simply uncheck the My To Do and Participation, for instance. But in this case, so the project manager doesn't necessarily need to be able to see resources or a to-do list or review their own participation. So unchecking these items will actually update my homepage screen and reduce clutter there. The next item on the list is the Overview tab with the introduction header. So in this case, we're actually modifying that Overview tab. In this case, it gives a little bit of information about what the Nighthawk project's all about. You have the option of including dynamic tags, and then you can choose the ordering for the different items held within the overview section. So for example, it usually calls upon different resources like the forum list, your resources, your upcoming to-do, etc., and you can order those however you see fit. Scrolling down further, you can see the different tab sections there, including the introduction, the dashboard, and the forum list. If again you don't want your forum list to show up at all for any particular team, you can uncheck that. Same with the project dashboard that had the different user accounts and the amount of feedback coming into the site. You can allow your participants to see that if you want, or you can leave it unchecked so it doesn't clutter up their interface. Scrolling down, you can see some of the other extra options for the Overview tab, including how you're listing out your upcoming to-do items, your recent resources, and the low activity alert trigger. And in the case of the upcoming to-do and recent resources, you can choose how many days out you want to list those items or how many items you want to list in total. Finally, you have a couple other options, including the items in group lists and date lists. And once you've made your changes, go ahead and hit submit. So regarding customizing the menu items in the left-hand menu there, you can provide links to external or internal resources, and that can be particularly useful if, for example, you have a software as a service product and you need to link them off to your particular product. Alternately, they can go to external downloads, maybe you have an external forum system that you've already got established, something like that. You can utilize these links, internal or external of Connect, and just put them in the left-hand menu for easy access. Additionally, you can utilize customized headings for grouping these assets, and uses for that might include Phase 1 resources and Phase 2 resources, something like that, wherein you can provide direct access to all of the Phase 1 bug reports, Phase 1 surveys, Phase 1 tasks, and keep them separate from all of those for Phase 2. Now to moderate this, go ahead and jump back in your Project Tools screen. We're going to scroll down to the Hidden Tools section, and I'm going to access the Project Menu tool. Now from here you can see a list of all the different headings for the left-hand menu, and you can see the dynamic items listed there. And dynamic items really corresponds to everything that your particular user account has access to. So in this case, tasks, you can see dynamic items is checked on, and I have beta tasks in the left-hand menu. If I were to complete all the tasks in that task list, then that would dynamically go away from my interface. Now if I were to hardcode or utilize the project menu management screen to put that link in there permanently, I'd have to deactivate that, otherwise it would always show up for my account. Now in this case, we're actually going to utilize the Project Menu tool to include a direct link to the general discussion forums, and I want to provide this to my internal members and to the Project Manager account. To do this, I'm actually going to take a direct link from that particular forum, and I'm going to put it in my Project Management menu. To do that, go ahead and access the forum, and you can either pull the URL from here by copying the link address, or actually access that page, and then grab the URL from the top bar. I'm going to go and Control copy that, or right click and copy that. When I come back in here, I'm actually going to utilize the New button here under Project Management. I'm going to give it a link label. And for the URL and the parameters, I'm actually going to paste everything in the URL parameters so I can see it all, and take everything from the question mark back, cut that out and paste it under URL, and then remove the question mark. So as you can see here, we have the full URL is everything prior to the question mark, and then the URL parameters is everything after the question mark. From here, I could actually include dynamic tags if the particular URL I'm trying to use corresponds to anything like that. So for example, if you have an integration going with your software as a service offering and Connect, you can pull their user ID or project ID, something of that nature, in order to provide credentials for a login. In this case, I want to open this link in a new window. And scrolling down the Team Access block, I want my general support group to have access to this link, but I don't want to clutter up the interface for quality assurance. In this case, it looks good to me. I'm going to hit Submit, and you can see in the left-hand menu there I now have a general discussion link that goes directly to my general discussion forum. So in this video, we covered providing efficient access to resources on the project homepage and how to customize the project homepage to have exactly the resources, tabs, and introduction that you want. We also talked about creating URL links and custom topic headings in the left-hand menu. So of course we have more videos coming up corresponding to the pre-launch phase of your project setup, so stay tuned.